What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to part 2 of the Modern Minuteman series, Uniform and Attire. One thing I'm always harping on for people that are trying to start Minuteman groups or other community response groups is professionalism. And your appearance is going to be one of the first determining factors of whether your group is going to be perceived as professionals by people in the community or other organizations. So today, that is something we're going to talk about. But first, guys, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Help us out in the battle against the algorithms. It is extremely helpful. Check out our website for products, classes, and all of the good stuff. You know the drill. So let's talk about uniforms and attire. If you are a larger organization in a sense, or have the goals of trying to be a larger organization, this is something that could or should be determined early on. And there are a ton of factors that are going to dictate what your uniform or attire or levels of attire will be made up of. And sometimes it may not be just a strict uniform, whether that be civilian attire or, like camis. It may be just an identifier or something like that. One big thing we see right now in the conflict in Europe is identifiers as armbands. Different armbands like yellow and blue versus white armbands for the other guys. So that is definitely something you should consider when planning this out. And what the mission at hand is, what your environment is like, whether you're going to be rural or urban, all of this is going to play a huge factor in what you decide to do. So let's go through a few levels of attire or uniforms and talk about why you may choose something like that and what kind of scenario or mission mindset that they kind of fit into. So let's start off with the first one, which is super basic. The first thing we have up here is a classic, just, OD green t-shirt, ball cap, and some jeans. This is something that is really good for like a small community event or a non-hazardous response to some sort of natural disaster. Very basic, but it sets your group aside. What I have on here is the OD green Modern Minuteman t-shirt that we sell on our website, but it doesn't have to be something like this. It could be a plain OD green t-shirt. It could be an OD green t-shirt or color appropriate t-shirt that your organization made that has your guys' logo on the chest. Something like this that is super basic, very simple, but it kind of sets a uniformity to your group. You go into town to set up some sort of aid station or a place where guys can come and get a hot meal after a tornado or something. Your crew is wearing some sort of matching attire, maybe your organization's logo. That sets a very good precedence and establishes that factor of professionalism. But we could take this up a stake. Let's look at the next one. Stepping it up a notch. Here we've got a Levi or Wrangler long sleeve shirt. Once again, we're still wearing jeans and maybe we're wearing a color coordinated hat of some sort. Now I'm kind of a little bit more, protected if I'm doing something like a natural disaster response with chainsaws or some sort of equipment. Or if I want to go ahead and put kit on, now I'm in, something a little bit more heavy duty. But once again, I am, establishing some form of uniformity. Everybody's wearing maybe blue jeans or coyote brown pants and long sleeve, unmarked, green shirts. We could throw kit on and it would look something like this. Now I've got kit on and I have a good, clean, neutral color appearance. And though this isn't a gear video, this is a good time to point out that your gear, as well as your attire, having a clean and professional appearance will also help with everything else. If you're going to dress, in a certain uniform or attire to establish that professional presence, your gear should give off that same effect. I wouldn't want to wear, multicam kits with some weird, old school army pouches and whatnot all over here over top of like an M81 woodland top and then like brown cargo pants. That just looks weird and awkward. We know exactly who I'm talking about. Don't be like those guys. So, I have something like this, but maybe you don't want to wear, a strict colored top, or you don't want to put that much of a limit on it, you could do something like this. The go-to for the Instagram goons, classic flannel. Neutral colors, doesn't necessarily give off any specific identifiers other than just being flannel. You're going to want to stick to, lighter colors, grays, blacks, maybe blues, something like that. Specifically if you're going to be in an urban environment. I mean, you could even take this into the rural environment, so long as your gear and other attire is somewhat neutral and maybe more green, depending on your environment. If you're in the environment like the desert, you're not going to want to wear a ton of green. But if you are in the Appalachians, or you're in the Midwest, a lot of this is going to vary on your environment. But flannel is another good go-to. You could make your SOP black gray flannels with OD green pants, something like that. That is going to give off some form of uniformity once again. I like flannels for more urban style environments. If I'm not going to wear like a dedicated camouflage uniform, I think they're, rather neutral. I can ditch kit and, not stick out as much if I'm wearing, all strict OD green, attire or something like that. Specifically if you're wearing something like jeans to begin with. And, it complements something like OD green or black kit, just fine. And there's one last one we have to talk about. Camis, or the utility uniform, depending on what you want to call it. I think every group or organization should have not only their civilian attire or uniform standards, but also their standards for camouflage, whether that to be just an identifier, even if you're in an urban environment, or specifically if you're in a more rural environment. You're going to want camouflage that fits your environment. I'm in Kentucky, so your classic woodland BDUs, this works for me. But if I'm in, North Texas, or I'm in Arizona or something like that, this isn't going to work there. So you have to get camouflage that is going to work for your environments. And, setting small, standards such as headgear or undershirts is also going to play a huge factor into that. Your standard may be something like the boonie, or you can do something like this. Again, go back to the old ball cap. OD green doesn't look bad, with the camis. Another big thing with this is going to be patches, because a lot of cami or utility uniforms comes with Velcro areas for patches. You could wear a unit identifier on your left flag. For this demonstration, I just have the modern Minuteman patch. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the musket version. We have the Minuteman patches on our website as well, and then just a Gadsden flag on this side. And with this, you're going to want to be kind of disciplined in your color choices. You're not going to want a orange and blue patch over top of your woodland camis. That's not going to look very good, but it also may make you stand out in a woodland environment. So have a plan to have something like this in place that is going to be good for your environment. All right, let's get out of these real quick. Oh, that's better. Regardless of what you wear, guys, have a plan and appear professional. That is going to be a huge factor in what people think about your group, your organization. If you appear professional, then you act professional, people are more likely going to either accept the help that you're trying to put forward. Other groups or organizations or agencies are going to want to work with you more, whatever that may be. Be professional. And also have a backup plan on how you plan to either clothe or identify people after something happens where you can no longer just buy camis or something like that online. Let's say whatever the SHTF, whatever happens, and you have new volunteers coming forward saying, hey, I want to help the community, I want to step forward, blah blah blah, I want to do this. Cool. Well, we no longer have the ability to get on Amazon or some sort of outdoor website and order surplus camis anymore. How are we going to clothe these guys? What are they supposed to wear? How are we going to identify them? Have plans in place. And that's why, having a plan for civilian attire is extremely easy. It's going to be pretty common for people to have jeans and a flannel laying around, or guys to have, brown work pants or cargo pants or something like that. So have multiple plans. You never have just one plan, because a plan may fail. Have multiple plans, guys, and things will work out for you. And this is why we do the things now, not after something happens. That's all I've got, guys, for part 2 of the Minuteman series, Uniform and Attire. I hope you guys continue to enjoy this series. Please come back, look for more. I'm constantly trying to figure out how I can make this content really good as we move forward. And I don't want to sacrifice a ton of quality, or information. Check out our website, guys, for products, classes, all that kind of stuff. We still don't have an Instagram because Instagram hates us, but I personally do through some funny business. Shout out to Comms and Logistics on Instagram for hooking me up with that. Head on over there. I like to post almost daily content that covers a wide range of stuff. Firearm stuff, tactics, homesteading, prepping, all that kind of stuff. Check us out there. I'm not really big into the Patreon or anything like that right now. At least, that might change in the future. But I don't know. Until next time, guys, train hard, train healthy.